I'm very excited today. I get to hike the Lane Basin Trail in Archangel Valley, Hatcher Pass. This is one of my favorite hikes. It's not very long and it's not very arduous. It's a very slight incline, but the mountain views here are spectacular. There's a nice little lake on the way and a waterfall. Not much of a waterfall, but it's a nice little water feature towards the end of the hike. This doesn't have a traditional trailhead with a parking lot. This road just kind of ends with this gate here, and the trail can either go up past the gate or you can take the Tundra Trail here, which is where me and the dogs are going to go today. And accompanying me today is Sugar and Phoenix. When you start this hike, you can either take the Tundra Trail, which me and the dogs took today. It gets a little bit muddy, or you can go past the gate, and there's a second trail that part of it's a road up to what used to be a mine. And I don't go up there to the mine too often because there's a lot of sharp metal around, and it's mostly for the safety of the dogs. But both of the trails intersect at this point, which then continues on up the hill, up this gradual incline here. And there's a lake at the top of it, and I'll show you that here in a minute. There are a few sections on this portion of trail where the streams cut right through the middle of the trail, and you'll have to walk on either side of them for a short distance. After that first short ascent, the lake makes a nice area for an initial rest stop, and the dogs will appreciate the water and the mud. The next little stop will be up on this rocky mound right here in front of us. It gives a nice 360-degree view of the entire valley, of where we just came from and where we're headed once the dogs get finished playing. At this point in the trail, you can see by the split paths here in front of me that it used to be a Jeep trail back when there was gold mining going on up here. The trail actually splits here into two paths. If you go to the left, it crosses the river in about 100 feet and then walks up the left side of the river. There's a lot more little streams and water crossings on that side, and more likely you're going to get your feet wet. And if you go to the right, it goes around over that little ridge there and stays on the right side of the river, and you cross what looks like a marsh, but it's actually not too bad. In fact, it's been pretty warm the last few days, so it should be fairly dry, and that's the route I prefer to take, just because I like to keep my feet dry. And then that's back the way we came. Now, as with any trail that has a river running right next to it, it tends to change from year to year. So this little section here used to be dry, at least it was last year when I came through. And now it's a pretty good stream, but it's still pretty easy to get through. There's plenty of rocks to jump across. So you shouldn't have any trouble getting through here with dry feet, unless you're on 4 legs and determined to get wet. Here's the Marsh Crossing I was talking about. As you can see, there's a pretty good trail cut through the middle of it that stays pretty dry. And the waterway gets really wide here. It's very slow moving. Sometimes you'll see people jumping in there, and dogs. But like I was saying on that last Y in the trail, if you go left or right through this next section, you're kind of dedicated to one side or the other. Another thing I really love about this section of trail is it cuts right through the middle of the valley, so it gives you incredible views of the mountains on all sides. Now this here looks like a pretty good spot to cross. I think I've crossed here before. It's lots of rocks, narrow water gaps, and the water ain't moving too fast. And plenty of stuff for the dogs to walk across. Go on, sugar. Go on. Let's go. And once you're across, the other trail is right here. Here we have the Archangel Waterfall. It's not a very big waterfall, but it's a pretty nice rush of water. A lot of the day hikers you see will come this far and use this as either like a lunch spot or a turnaround spot. But there's a couple things further up the valley I want to look at today. And on my way back, I'm thinking of hiking up to this ridge line. There's some rock formations up there I want to take a look at. This is just above the waterfall. You can see the water gets real slow up here, nice and calm, just before it goes down to the waterfall, which is just about 100 feet over that way. This little flat rock here is actually one of my favorite spots. Me and the dogs have stopped here numerous times for lunch. Although today we're going to trek on a little further as it's still pretty early. Over the waterfall, there's a nice view of the winding river where the water slows down just before going into the waterfall. And up here a little bit further, this is a pretty nice scenic overlook of the valley that you hiked up. A lot of it's around that bend down there, but again, pretty much anywhere you come up here in Archangel Valley is going to be a very nice scenic view of the mountain. These are the rock formations I wanted to come take a look at. Mostly because of these giant cracks. I mean, this is a huge boulder. There's Phoenix for comparison. And these are just massive gaps in the rock. You can see sunlight all the way through them. Thousands of years ago, when this was a glacier through here, the weight and pressure of the ice, along with the slow grinding of its movement, just fractures these rocks and tears them apart. Don't go too far, Phoenix. Come on. Good girl. So here's the back side of that big rock. And as you can see, it's just been ripped apart. That is always impressive to see the force of Mother Nature. Where are you going, Phoenix? Good girl. Good girl. This is the first time I've hiked to this ridge point. That's the lake we stopped at earlier, down below us. In the valley, going back out of Archangel back into Hatcher Pass. And down there you can see the road and the trail we took to get here. And that's the mound I took the 360-degree shot. And then we hiked all the way back around to there, around this mountain where you can't see. Oh, pretty good day. If you like what you see on my channel, please click like and subscribe. Thank you.